Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video hopefully won't be that long. I do have somewhere to be. It is currently July 4th. I got my bathing suit on. I'm ready to go out for a little party I'm having. But I wanted to sit down and make this video because I have been watching, like everyone else in the world as well, have been watching the Shane Dawson videos about Tanacon. And I've watched the entire thing now twice over the past 2 days. And I have a lot of questions that I need to be answered because, I mean, I feel personally, this is an unpopular opinion, I know it is, I'm risking being read to filth, it's okay, I get it. I personally feel like Shane did a shit job with these videos, personally. There was so much that was left out. There was a couple different things that I pinpointed in my second round of watching the videos that were contradictory to each other. There were things that should have been brought up that were not. It was very obvious that Shane was very biased more towards Tana than anybody else. As much as he tried to make it seem like he was unbiased and he wanted to make sure that everyone saw him as an unbiased person, it's impossible to be unbiased when you have a personal relationship with someone involved in something like this. You know what I mean? He had his few moments where he's like, I'm gonna be strict with you and you have to understand this, but he really wasn't. And I felt like people were left with so many more questions than they were answers. The only new receipts that were brought up in his video series was in the last like 2-3 minutes of his third installment of the series, where he brings up the 2 contracts between both Michael and Marriott and Michael and Veeps. I know that Veeps has been talked about a lot because people are saying there's this big conspiracy theory that Veeps is a side project of Michael's company or something like that. I'm not sure. But as far as the Marriott goes, Michael has claimed, like you see right here,
for the record, we are looking into litigation against the Marriott,
that he is seeking legal action against the Marriott for lying to him about the capacity limits, even though he signed a contract acknowledging that the capacity limit for that venue was only 1,000 and some odd people. Michael can claim till his face turns blue the employee who was talking to him and actually working with him to solidify this venue as the actual space for Tanacon was telling him, oh, that's just a formality, don't worry about it, you can definitely fit that many people in here. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's hearsay, first of all. And contracts don't lie. If you are truly the professional that you want people to believe you are, you would understand that words mean nothing, especially when there's a contract involved. He was videotaping everything for a documentary and that he wanted to get all footage from everybody for the documentary. If in fact he happened to take video of the actual contract signings for everything, and he actually has the employee on camera saying, oh, we can definitely accommodate 5,000 people or how many people there was there, then that's one thing. That's, you're getting on camera. But let's be real, I highly doubt he has that footage. And so with that being said, I really don't think he's gonna get very far with any sort of legal action against the Marriott at this point in time. I had such high hopes for this series because I really felt like, especially with the way these videos were advertised and how they were hyped up by not only Shane himself but Tana as well, I felt like the people who were fucked over, so whether it be the creators,
and then I'm supposed to go to Tanacon, but rumors on Twitter are saying that Tanacon is canceled. But then I see Tana still tweeting stuff about Tanacon. So I don't know if Tanacon is happening. I'm so confused. It looks like it's still happening because Tana's still like, I'm on a panel right now, you know, stuff like that. So I don't know if people are just not being able to get in. I don't know what the tea is, but it looks like there's drama.
London, where are we going?
I don't even know anymore.
That's right, kids. We don't even know anymore. The tea is that it is 2:56 and my meet and greet at Tanacon was at 3 p.m. And I use was because not only would I have been late, it is now canceled because Tanacon has been canceled. So here's the thing.
Third thought I was dressed like
20,000 people showed up at Tanacon today. Supposedly what happened, and I don't know anything. I'm just like literally following the tweets like you guys. I'm basically a fan at this point because I don't know what's going on. Like Tana isn't calling me, like no one's calling me. when I spoke to someone from Good Times, they said the event was canceled, and then apparently 10 minutes later, Tana and Bella came outside and said that everyone could come back inside. They evacuated the entire building because apparently it was like a fire safety hazard.
Or whether it be the attendees, I felt like they were ultimately going to be able to get some answers as far as what was going to be done, as far as refunds or reimbursements, whatever the case may be. I really thought that at the very least in the very last video, with how hyped up it was, that there would be answers, but there was nothing. And I don't think it was worth the wait, to be quite honest with you guys. The video itself, especially the third one, was lackluster at most, because I felt like the entire video was just Tana and Michael arguing about the same shit over and over again, and no one was giving any answers. I mean, let's be real. People were saying, well, maybe he's releasing it in 3 parts because he's going to use the funds from all 3 videos to pay back everyone who lost money during the Tanacon situation. I do not believe it is Shane's responsibility to pay anyone back for anything. I understand that everyone, and I myself believe this as well, everyone thinks that Shane is that good of a person that he would do that, and there's no doubt in my mind that he would do it. But it's not a question of would he do it, it's a question of should he be the one to do it or have that responsibility. I think no. Shane is not the one who signed the contracts. Shane isn't the one who created this event. This was not Shane's responsibility. So why on earth should he be responsible for paying back $325,000 plus, and I say plus because I have some more receipts for you guys, dollars to however many people that attended? That's not his responsibility whatsoever. So I say to those people, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it's not his responsibility to pay back someone else's fuck up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start with Michael, because he is the #1 person that I believe is the true reason the entire Tanacon experience went to shit so quickly. There seems to be this notion that Tana and Michael hadn't worked together before prior to Tanacon, but I'm here to tell you that is a bold-faced lie, and it is false. Tana was a featured creator in Good Time Live's January show in Chicago, and I have the footage right here.
We're going to Chicago right now. We're going to Good Times Chicago. We're about to pick up Hunter and go to the airport.
I bring that up because #1, where was Tanacon held at? A hotel. So with that point being brought up, it is very clear that Michael has worked with hotels prior to Tanacon, right? So why would someone who has had previous experiences with hotels and conventions, why would he go through and allow the sale of well over 5,000 plus tickets? And I say plus because of this. There was a last minute addition to the ticket sales. There was a $40 option available on the Veep's website that was supposedly sold out, and it was only available on day 1 of Tanacon. Why was the numbers for those sales, if it truly was sold out or sold at all, why was those numbers ignored? Like, why wasn't that added into the total amount? Because as it stands, it's at $325,000 in ticket sales alone. But if you add in however many that were sold for this $40 option, that would bring it up a little bit higher, I would think. You know what I mean? And so far, I haven't seen anyone bring this up, but this is pretty important to bring up, which is why I'm bringing it up. And as you can see, there is the official Veep's website right up top there. This is not a made-up receipt. This is a literal receipt of something that was happening that people kind of just like skid past, including Shane himself. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, if Michael has had previous experiences with running conventions at hotels before, why would he then allow 5,000 plus tickets to be sold at a venue that he acknowledged and signed a contract for that there could only fit 1,018 people? Where does that make sense? Now let's go even further into this, because there's a lot of things that I'm really confused about, and the main thing I'm confused about is this statement right here.
This has cost me everything. Well over $700,000 on the event alone, not including Tana's reputation, your reputation, all of our creators. At the end of the day, Marriott fucked us over.
There is not one thing I can find in any of these videos that would make this entire convention worth $700,000. Because let's think about it right now. Number one, according to all accounts on all ends, there was no food and water available for anybody, whether it be a food truck or even a water truck or whatever the case may be. There was none of that available. I didn't see any porta potties, which meant that there was no like outside bathroom options. The goodie bags were worth at the most, I would say $6 in total. And last but not least, my dude Michael claimed that he spent $100,000 on security alone, which I have right here in this clip.
I staffed a $100,000 security bill, and you're telling me that was 91 guards?
Bro, those guards were
fucking garbage. I find that extraordinarily hard to believe. And to be quite honest, I truly believe the security guards they hired really were people in just plain t-shirts acting like security, because no trained security people from a reputable company would ever just allow people to walk through them or past them if their job is to be security. Like say they had X amount of people who were supposed to be outside checking bags. No reputable company would allow their employees to carry out things such as allowing people, whoever they were, without checking IDs, without checking bags, into a convention that they're paid to be at. Where does that make sense? I've been to a lot of conventions, a lot of concerts in my life. I have never in my life experienced any security team anywhere that would allow something like that to happen. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So with that being said, I really do believe Tana was onto something when she said that he must have hired people off the street who were just wearing t-shirts to act like security, because they didn't give a fuck about the safety of people. And the one thing you're trained to give a fuck about as a security guard is the safety of fucking people. So I would love to see the receipts from Michael for all these totals of all this money he spent. Now let's go ahead and talk about Tana, because this was the main event. This was the star of the entire show, right? Not only was Tana a featured creator at Good Time Live's show in Chicago, but Tana, as you can see here, has modeled for Michael in the past, and she is seen on the website for his clothing company modeling for him alongside her best friends Ashley and Amari.
But every single person you manage has told me that like it's your mom's real estate money and you have plenty of it and you've scammed them, and that, like, fuck Michael, the shit that your clients have told me over the past 2 days, I can't get out of my head.
That is so disgusting. That is actually so sad.
Every single one of your clients that went to Tanacon came up to me at my birthday party and told me they were too afraid to tell me that you were gonna fuck me over. That they get fucked over by you constantly, and that I should have listened to everyone who told me not to work with you, and that, like, on and on and on and on. Every single one of your biggest clients told me how much money you've taken from them, how much you've hurt them. Like, name them, I'll say their names. Like, if you want me to, I'll ask them to ask you. Like,
Yeah, I would love to.
And so a lot of people were saying, okay, well, maybe she should have listened to all these people and maybe she should have found someone else to work with and all this bullshit. But here's the thing, okay? Like we've seen on 2 different occasions, Tana has worked with Michael before. She did have a successful event with Michael and Good Times in Chicago where things just kind of went flawlessly. And so she assumed, you know what, things went good the first time, let me go ahead and work with him again. If you have nothing but good experiences with somebody, you're gonna trust that person, you know what I mean? Despite what anyone else is saying to you, you know, based off of what you went through with that person, that things seem like they were okay and you trust this person because of a successful event, right? And that's ultimately the reason why I feel like Tana was only doing this, because she felt like she knew Michael and she knew that she had had a successful event with him prior to that, and she had no reason to believe what these people were saying. I'm not a fan of Michael in the slightest. I think he's a shady, sketchy ass person, especially with what we're seeing with the situation. But I don't think it's fair in anyone's case when you are paying someone to do shows for you, or you're paying them to show up as a creator for your events, and they're sitting behind your back talking shit to other people behind your back. I am someone who will tell you how I feel to your face. That's how I am. There's no confusion. But I will never sit there and talk behind someone's back and be like, oh, this person is completely shitty. But I will still take that paycheck each event. You know, that's fucked up to do somebody. Tana in the video even says, I will give names, I'll tell you who it is, and then they edit that part out. So I don't know if she even tells him who it is, but I think that's a very important thing to talk about, because hello, if there are more people who have had bad experiences with Michael, those people need to speak out. This is very important at this point, you know what I mean? Now, going back to the overall totals on what was spent for Tanacon in general, the biggest argument that Tana and Michael got into was the fact that Michael was saying that Tana didn't spend any money or put anything towards Tanacon and its creation, and he claimed that he was the only one who put money towards Tanacon. So if there were receipts on Tana's behalf that would prove that she did in fact invest money into this event, why was those receipts left out? And where are the receipts? Also, we only saw the contracts signed by Michael. Where are the contracts signed by Tana? Why was that also left out? Just saying. And now lastly, let's talk about Shane, because obviously he was one of the creators who was invited to Tanacon. He was supposed to be doing meetups and all that kind of shit at Tanacon. That didn't happen. But Shane was one of the ones that people were most upset about because he never goes to conventions. And so when Tana just so happened to book Shane to show up at her convention, it was a huge deal. And because of that, people were saying that that's the reason why Shane is so invested in getting the truth about what happened out, because he felt that it was truly a fucked up situation to the point where he had fans knowing that he never goes to conventions, paying thousands of dollars to go visit him in Anaheim for an event that was supposed to be amazing and all-inclusive and all this bullshit, and it never happened. It turned into a fucking dumpster fire shit show in a matter of minutes. People were under the impression that Shane was perhaps releasing the videos in 3 different parts because he was going to use the money from each of the videos to pay people back for whatever expenses they spent to get to Tanacon. He is the granddaddy of YouTube, as he calls himself, and laughs about himself and shit like that. I get it, and he seems like a very genuine person. I really do think he went into this whole thing with good intentions. But it's not his responsibility to pay back that money. Legally, the only person responsible for paying back that money because of the contracts he signed is Michael. Now, here's the thing I need people to understand. Michael has been saying in the videos countless times, I have the possibility of going to bankruptcy or having to file bankruptcy.
Like, I've got to figure out what to do. Like, I'm looking at bankruptcy. It's going to probably ruin my life for the next 7 years.
If Michael were to go through with bankruptcy and file for it, that means that every single person who bought tickets to this event would not be getting their refund unless it came from either Shane or Tana. But I'm hoping it doesn't come from Shane. I'm hoping it comes from Tana specifically, because she was the one who said explicitly on Twitter that no matter what, she would do whatever it takes, even if it meant paying out of pocket to each person. I don't want to be an asshole, but I truly feel like someone else should have done this video series. Someone with no ties to either party. There'd be no bias, nothing. someone else should have done the video, because overall I feel like there was definitely bias in favor of Tana the entire time. Shane tried to play it off like he wanted to be strict with her, but even when he was being strict, he was very soft with her. And a lot of the questions that should have been answered, like where are the receipts for what you invested? Where are the contracts that you signed? Like those are the questions that should have been asked. And then as far as Michael, I mean, there is a whole laundry list of questions that should have been asked that weren't asked. Because I feel like Michael kind of scared Shane towards the end of video 2 where he said, I'm on the edge of being pretty much suicidal over this.
It's gonna throw me under the bus. But like, Shane, I'm damn near suicidal over this. Like, this is really, really hurting me. And people don't understand that. Tana doesn't understand that. I'm more hurt than probably you, than Tana. I don't know what else to do.
And I feel like that kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't push too hard on Michael for this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I feel like someone completely out of the loop should have been involved and asked the questions and really dug into everything. The last thing I wanted to touch on was the big contradiction I had seen in videos 2 and 3. We all know that Tana was very, very happy and very excited and very surprised that she was able to seemingly pull off the planning of this entire event in a matter of 2 months' time.
If you would have told me 2 months ago when I sat down to say, hey, I'm not going to VidCon, that I would be planning and holding and hosting my fucking dream convention, I would have literally laughed in your face. Like, and I remember in that video literally saying like, let's do a meetup in Anaheim. Like when I was talking about that, I was envisioning like me in a parking lot, like just like Snapchatting, having a good time with you guys, like doing what I did in Chicago. I can't vlog. Like, and then like people started commenting like, no, have a Tanacon. Like Tanacon didn't come from me ever really even saying it seriously. It was you guys.
In the second video, towards the end, we see this clip where she lets this slip out towards Michael.
6 months ago, you stopped working on all their stuff to work on Tanacon just to make money off of me.
You know that I loved you. I trusted you, and here we are in this situation.
So why does every single one of your clients tell me that 6 months ago they knew that you were gonna scam me? That 6 months ago you stopped working on all their stuff just to make money off of me?
No one wanted to. Tana, what are you talking about? Like, you know that I loved you. I trusted you, and here we are in this situation. Like,
However, in video number 3, we see her say this.
But I do want you to know, but it doesn't fucking matter, that I sat in meeting after meeting after meeting with them, still deciding things like, I want this panel to go at this time, I want these people to do this, I want this kind of booth, I want there to be food and water, I want there to be great security, I spent so much time, but it wasn't good enough. You can't do it in 2 months, you can't do it when you're 20 years old and you have no experience in this industry, and you're right. Like if I really had wanted it to be as good as I'm out here saying, I should have planned it in a year, and I was dumb and impulsive for doing it in 2 months.
So I ask you this question, Shane, were you aware that you had 2 different contradictory statements in 2 of your videos? And to Tana I ask, so which is it? Is it 6 months or is it 2 months? Because the big excuse everyone is using in favor of Tana was that she was dumb enough to believe that she could pull off an entire convention in a matter of 2 months or 3 months at this point now. But here she is saying to Michael, people were telling me even 6 months ago that you dropped all their projects to work on Tanacon. So which is it? This is the reason why I say that someone else besides Shane should have been the one to do the series, because I feel like truly he was biased. I feel like this could have been done a lot better. I feel like the answers should have been given out because people waited how many days? Like they already waited in line for 5 to 6 hours to see Tana and their favorite creators, and now they were waiting even longer for answers, and they were all answers they never even got with your videos. So to me it just seems like a bunch of bullshit. And so with that being said, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Whose side are you on? Do you think it's Michael's fault? Do you think it's Tana's fault? Voice off down below. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. It's almost 3 o'clock. I got to get going. Stay safe if you're celebrating the 4th of July here in the US. And I will see you guys later on. I love you guys so, so much. Bye.